In this video, we're going to be solving for x. What that means is we want x to be equal to some value. Okay, in this case, all we have is numbers and a single variable, which is x. So we're going to be able to have x equal to some number value. Okay, now one thing to remember in math, it's considered math convention, so just the way things are done in math, to have our unknown, in this case x, on the left hand side of the equal sign, and then whatever the value it's equal to would be on the right hand side of the equal sign. Now, we're not going to be worried about that while we're solving the problem, but if we get to the end of the problem and our x is on the right hand side, we're going to move it, okay? But just for working out the problem, we're not going to be too worried about it, okay? So let's go ahead. This is going to take us a few steps to get the x by itself. So the first thing we need to do is we want to start by moving this 4. Okay, we want this on the other side of the equal sign. Now, in order to do that, we need to do the opposite action. Okay, so right now we've got this positive 4 and it's added to this other term. Okay, so in order to get rid of it or move it, we would have to subtract 4. Okay, because see, if we subtracted 4, or we could call this adding negative 4, which sounds confusing, but they're actually the same thing. Okay, so we can add negative 4 or we can subtract 4. If we do that, we'll see these two terms will cancel. Okay, and we're going to be left with just this term of x over 5. That's what we want, right? However, we can't just do this, right? We can't just do this to one side of the equation. If we did that, now we have a different problem, right? We've changed the problem. We're not solving the original problem, okay? So whatever we did to one side, we have to do the other side. So once again, we're going to add this negative 4. Okay, now we're going to simplify. So we have negative 4 plus 0, which is just going to be negative 4. And that's going to be equal to, well, we've got this 4 plus negative 4, that's 0, which is perfect, right? Because that's what we were trying to do. If it doesn't equal 0, then you did something wrong. Okay, so you need to stop, go back, and try again. Okay, so these guys cancel. So we're left simply with this one term of x over 5. Okay, so now we've kind of condensed down, simplified down our problem a little bit. Well, we're still not quite done yet. We're going to do the same kind of thing that we did before. Remember, we're still trying to get this x by itself. So we need to get rid of this 5. Now, remember, when we have a fraction, so anything, a variable or a number, over another number or variable, a fraction is simply a division we haven't done, okay? So this is x over 5, or we can say x divided by 5, okay? It means the same thing. So, if we know this means x divided by 5, and if we do the opposite action, or opposite operation, right? So it's x divided by 5. If we multiplied it by 5, right? These guys will cancel, okay? And that's what we want, right? We're trying to get things to cancel. We're trying to get x by itself. Okay, so once again, if we multiply one side of our equation by something, in this case, times 5, we need to do the same thing to the other side of our equation, okay? So I'm going to put a bracket around this, and I'm going to multiply it by 5. I put this bracket here because there's the negative sign, okay? I don't want to get confused. Okay, let's simplify. 5 times negative 4. Okay, this is a tiny bit tricky. The 5 is positive. When we multiply a positive and a negative, our answer is going to be negative, okay? So 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. Okay, and then on our other side, we have these two 5s that cancel, and all we're left with is x. So negative 20 is equal to x. But remember what I said at the beginning of the video? Yeah, we want to have the x on the left-hand side of our equal sign. Okay, now, because we have completely solved this problem, okay, there's nothing left to do, we can simply just swap the two sides, okay? We don't need to do anything fancy, extra multiplications or divisions or adding or subtracting. We don't need to do anything like that. All we need to do is swap them, completely swap them. The signs stay the same, everything stays the same, except the x is now going to be on the left-hand side, and the negative 20 is now going to be on the right-hand side. Because negative 20 equals x is the same thing as saying x equals negative 20. If you would like to learn how to quickly study for your GED exam online and get a new resume, then visit testprepskills.com.